ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the E-Tail Report. I am your host, Velocity Pete. And if you don't remember, this segment that we do is meant to catch you up and fill you in on the different things happening in the e-commerce world that you might have missed. Whether you missed the millions of LinkedIn posts or you missed the millions of newsletters that I'm sure you're all signed up for. If you're not, sign up for ours. You'll get all this information in writing form. You want to listen to me ramble on and make silly little jokes about it. But this is the show where we talk about everything that you need to know in the e-tail world. Our first topic is the one on everyone's mind. How did Prime Day go? Amazon, at the time of this recording, it's about a week after. And Amazon has released some data for us to kind of take a look at it. What's important to note is when they say that there was growth, tremendous growth year over year, of course there was. They doubled the amount of days that the event was happening. That's like asking someone to, instead of running a 100 meter, just run 50. And if you don't double your time, something's wrong there. So obscure running reference there. I used to run track. I was not good at it. I was more of a shot put guy, discus and javelin as well for the throwing events. All my track stars out there. They, of course, had tremendous growth. Of course, Amazon is going to come out and say, oh, wow, we had a giant growth spike, year over year. You had 4 days instead of 2. Funny enough, hearing from other brands, hearing from my friends that are just regular shoppers that ask me what the best deals are, as if I somehow control the best deals and I just know every in and out about Amazon, which I don't. I heard from a lot of sellers and shoppers alike, 4 days was weird. It felt wrong. It felt something was off in the vibes of Prime Day this year on both, again, the seller and the buyer side. 4 days felt like you had almost too much time and that there wasn't a rush. There wasn't a rush in a sense of a timely way, but also in a sense of, oh man, I only have 2 days to get these deals. That rush of excitement that you get when you find a really good deal from a brand that you've been looking at for a while, or you have an item you've had in your cart for a little bit, or you're saved for later. There wasn't that excitement, and people are attributing that to the 4 days. However, like I said, there was a tremendous, tremendous amount of sales. From what I saw and from what I looked at and from what Amazon put out just in the beginning, I wanna make sure I'm reading this correctly because it's a lot of money. Uh, it's Amazon's biggest, again, yet, of course, 4 days, spending approximately $24 billion, a 30% increase over last year. Adobe Analytics reported that nearly $7.9 billion was spent on day one alone, so about roughly a little bit under a third. Well, I guess right around a third, if I'm doing the math correctly. Good thing I didn't study math in college. Or about a third of the money spent over the course of the 4 days was spent on day one. I think people were very excited to get into it, and I think that it definitely, if they showed the day by day spending, it definitely was the lowest on day 3 and 4 because, again, there's no rush, there's no excitement. But still, 24 billion in spent in sales is pretty good. That's really a great number for all of you Amazon sellers out there that are looking to really take advantage of an event like Prime Day. Sales shouldn't be your only focus, but it definitely is a big one, and it helps when people are willing to spend. So again, although I heard from both sides of the aisle, there was some dispute about whether the 4 days is good. People still spent money, and that's really the moral of the story here, is that no matter what Amazon does, people are still going to spend money, no matter what. So if you're looking to get into Amazon, you're looking to start your business somewhere, Amazon is always the answer, and I say that as obviously someone that works in the industry, but also someone that believes in that ideal. So looking into the other platforms, everyone else, of course, did their Target Ring Days or Target Circle Days, Walmart Deal Days. I think even Michaels had something on their e-commerce thing for the week that Prime Day was happening, July either the 7th to the 11th. They did all 5 days, or they did like Prime, they did 8 to the 11, or they just did 8 and 9, or they did 10 and 11. Either way, a lot of other e-commerce platforms are doing deals on those days. So if you're in the market for an omni-channel expansion, just know that you don't have to worry about meticulously planning out different coupons or different sites. They're all just going to copy Amazon at the end of the day. I always say Walmart's very funny because I think 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, they did their first Walmart Prime event, and they waited to announce the days until a day after Amazon did. So they're very funny. They're very smart. It's very interesting. But looking at another one of those platforms that also did a special event, TikTok is now expanding to some new marketplaces, and we knew this is gonna be the biggest grower of 2025 and even of last year. I would say it was still TikTok. Walmart, I think, was maybe number 1, but in my opinion, it was TikTok Shop. And they're opening marketplaces now in Japan, in Brazil, and a little bit across Europe as well, if they weren't already there. So it's very an interesting time as well to be on TikTok. Is of course comes as the same stipulation and the same contingencies as is expanding on Amazon does, where you have to change your SEO. You might have to change your images. We had a podcast with a guy whose whole business was helping people expand to Amazon Mexico, and a lot of what he was saying is that you can't even use the same images on your Mexico side of things as you can in your Amazon Spain or Amazon EU side of things because it's just so different cultures. And I feel like that's what's going to be the case here in Japan and in Brazil and anywhere else that they expand outside of the US. The culture is so vastly different. You're going to have to really work on adapting your strategy to really be successful in each of these different marketplaces, or I would again call them cultures. The different cultures that adapt to the different videos are going to be very interesting to see. We have a few TikTok accounts here that are working on that expansion, and it'll be fun to see how they do and how they perform. So that's something to look out for, especially as again TikTok grows. And like I said, it's the biggest grower. It's going to be the biggest grower of 2025. I think it was the biggest grower as of last year as well. So just again, all these things to consider, all these things to look out for. And lastly, when this episode comes out and you're listening to this on your drive to work or on your bathroom break or wherever you're listening to it, you should be preparing for quarter 4 already. It should not be waiting. You should have it done. The big brands all do this. Your competitors are definitely doing this, so you should be doing it. That should be reason enough. If your competitor jumped off a bridge, you should too. That's the old adage that I just made up right now. I'm sure someone said it before, but I'm making it up and saying that it's mine. You should be committing to Q4 planning really in May. Because then you can plan for Prime Day inventory-wise. You can plan for the different types of coupons that you want to run. Any new products that are going to be added, how are you going to push those? This should be happening now. And on top of that, Amazon has just now, looking forward to Q4 and looking forward at the difficulties that some people face as far as logistics go, as far as we all know of getting product in, as far as Amazon processing it and making sure it's on your shelf and in your inventory. Amazon has just committed $4 billion to major expansions of the logistics network to help, they claim to help triple delivery capacity by 2026 for, again, the many, many problems that I'm sure a lot of sellers out there, including a lot of us here at Velocity, have faced when trying to get product in at Amazon during quarter 4. Even if you're ahead of schedule, it shouldn't be a problem, but if you're behind and this happens, you're missing out on sales. So Amazon, knowing this, that they are also missing out on sales because, again, they want as much money as possible, like everyone else. They will be expanding delivery capacity and expanding just logistics processing capacity to make sure that they do not miss out on the sales as well as you don't miss out on the sales. But bottom line is they want the more sales. So Prime members will continue to receive free same-day delivery on orders over $25 while paying $2.99 for smaller orders. That is Prime members paying that as well. So just keep that in mind. And non-members will pay $9.99 for smaller delivery or same-day orders. So if you're ordering something same day, you might as well just put a bunch of things in the cart, make it over 25. This is how they're going to be paying for the logistics expansion. Of course, you thought that they were contributing their own money. Wrong. They are contributing ours. To stay up to date on all of these things and then some on Amazon and other e-commerce platforms that you're selling on, make sure to subscribe to our newsletter. I have a link down below to check it out. And you can also just read this information on the newsletter instead of listening to me and my dumb jokes. So if that's something that interests you, go check that out. If it's not, if you actually enjoyed these silly little jokes, make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with all of the e-tail episodes we're putting out. We're going to put out one every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks or so. When breaking news happens, of course, we'll have an emergency e-tail report. But stay consistent with it, and to stay up to date on all things e-commerce, make sure you like and subscribe. And thank you all for watching. I'm your host, Velocity Pete, and we will see you next week.